transitions aren't as smooth on StreamYard, and I'm not quite used to it. I've been doing other stuff with the other program, and, well, I'm going to flub. It's just going to happen, so bear with me. Good evening, folks. How is everybody tonight? Doing a little something special, like I said. Just going off the cuff. Talking about strange stuff. Yeah. Yeah, pardon the gaps. Hope everybody's doing all right. And I'm getting off to a little bit of a rough start. Tonight, strange encounters. I know there's a lot of people out there who've had them, but this one right here is kind of weird. And I'm going to take a look at this one. This one right here. Here we go. Hope everybody can see that. Let's just make it a little bit bigger here. And this is coming from Mysterious Universe. Strange encounters with bizarre humanoids in the desert. And this one right here, it says, it may seem as if the wasteland of the desert are completely devoid of life. With their never-ending expanse of bleak scrub and sand dunes, this all appears as if it must be a barren realm that might as well be on another planet. Yet not only does life thrum here behind the scenes, eking out of living in these badlands, but there's also quite a few reports of mysterious creatures from here of a surprisingly humanoid nature. Here are some of the strangest. One of the most bizarre and unsolved cases of the desert humanoid creature of a man of some sort is an enormous beast that has come to be known as the Yucca Man. The tales seem to originate in the 1960s in the vicinity of 29 Palms military base, located in the Mojave Desert of southeastern California and the southern Nevada. Here in this remote, desolate location, there will be a series of events that has remained unexplained for decades and which hints at some sort of desert roaming humanoid entity. The first sighting that really put the phenomena on the map allegedly occurred in 1971, when a Marine from the base who was on guard duty reported hearing something out in the desert scrub, which sounded like heavy breathing from something very large, as well as growls seemingly circling his guard station. When he wearily went out to investigate, expecting to see some wild animal, he claimed to have been confronted with a gigantic 8-foot-tall, hairy, ape-like creature with glowing red eyes. In some versions of the account, the Marine is knocked down by the beast, only to awaken hours later and find his rifle twisted and bent like a pretzel. Well, I'm no expert. Not by far. But after listening to all these, eyewitness accounts, different stories relating to, giving third-hand information about encounters with Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Sounds like Bigfoot to me. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a totally different type of creature. But it sounds like a Bigfoot to me. And they go on saying, let's see. Let's get rid of this. I told you it's going to be bumpy tonight. Okay, we can get back to it. This would be far from the last anyone would hear of the strange creature, with frequent reports of dogs going haywire and hikers encountering a fetid stench beginning to come in at a steady rate in the following years. And there was a spate of such odd occurrences at Joshua Tree National Park throughout the early 70s, with numerous campers telling of large beasts rummaging through their campsite and even attempting to open their tents, as well as park employees telling of sighting monstrous man-like forms prowling the desert that were estimated as being up to 12 feet tall. There were also massive footprints found and several indistinct, predictably blurry pictures of the creature or creatures were taken. Such sightings made their way into several Southern California news publications at the time, and on June 1973, a report from the Antelope Valley Daily Ledger Gazette described the creature, and some report thus: the creature likes to run around houses and leaving footprints. That it's its M.O. in the East Lancaster area, where footprints were found around several houses recently. One woman reported that the creature ran around her house and scratched at the door. A small boy, sent to tell his father supper was ready, was found hours later crying near the corral. When asked what happened to him, he answered that a big furry man would not let him pass. See, it's stuff like that. That's where the government, I talked about this last night. There's stuff like this where I believe the government needs to, disclose this information to the general public. We need to know. Once again, I said last night, if there is a dangerous predatory animal in the vicinity, an alert is going to go out. People are going to be made aware to be vigilant and watch for this creature. Why in the world is the general population, we, the United States citizens, not made aware of these creatures, these cryptids that have been around since probably we've been around? This is just one of them things, man. Bugs the crap out of me. Makes me mad. And they continue to say in this article, in that year, 1973, there are many sightings of the creature in the area of Lancaster, in the western Mojave in California, such as a sighting made by 3 separate Marines and other desperate witnesses as well. It got to the point where in this year there was a near tragedy when 2 search parties were out Bigfoot hunting in the wake of the mysterious reports and almost opened fire on each other. Sightings continued, and in 1979 there was an account given by an elderly couple who claimed that the beast had stepped right out in front of their car to tower over the vehicle before lumbering off into the night, leaving enormous tracks behind. In that same year, there were 2 additional sightings from Hammett, California, of a massive 10-foot tall creature that left behind footprints 1.5 feet long. That's big. That's flipping huge. Well, I mean, that's just one story. We could do a whole show on that. A whole show on it. And there's some very odd ones they mention. Going to look at some strange ones that doesn't get talked about very much. Okay. Let's see. There's a list of 10 cryptids you've never heard of. Okay? They're going to be a little out of order because why not? And one I think most people have heard of before. This one right here. This one, the Goat Man. There are many stories of how the Goat Man from Prince George's County, Maryland, came to be. One of the most popular ones is that he is a goat herder that lost his mind when teenagers murdered his goats. Another story is that he is similar to Bigfoot, but he just looks like a goat. Another story, and one that is most fantastical if you think about it, is that the Goat Man is a genetic mistake made by a scientist from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Research Center in Beltsville, Maryland. The story goes that the scientist was trying to cross the DNA of a goat with his lab assistant, William Lotsford. It is said that William is now a mutant and out to get revenge. The Goat Man has been known to chase people, decapitate dogs, and terrify lovers who have made the mistake of parking on Fletchtown Road, his home turf. Teens who make the mistake of going to Fletchtown Road looking for the Goat Man have had the misfortune to see him do not go back. Well, Goat Man, it could be explained in another way. Any of you are familiar with the Baphomet? A goat-like entity that is usually related to satanic rituals and worship, and represented as some type of effigy at an altar. It could be. But here we go. Here's another one that's kind of weird. And it is the rope lick monster. This would be number 7 on the list. The Pope Lick monster makes its home under the Trestle Bridge on the Norfolk Southern Railway, which crosses over Pope Lick Creek in Kentucky. Those who have claimed to see the creature have reported that it has the body of a man and the lower torso of a goat or sheep. Some people even claim the monster has short horns protruding from his forehead. According to different reports, the goat man either uses hypnosis or has some sort of siren voice to lure people into the train tracks or passing locomotives, then run them down. Others have claimed that the goat man drops down onto passing cars from within the trestle. So is this just another legend told to keep people, especially children, away from the potential dangers of the trestle bridge? Possibly, but there have been several deaths on or under the bridge after people scaled the 8-foot-high fence to look for this cryptid. Some of these people were involved in legend tripping, a pastime where amateur folklorists and monster hunters go in seeking their legends. Trains still use the bridge even with its advanced age, and unaware cryptid seekers have been struck by trains or have fallen off the trestle while climbing to the tracks. So even if the Pope Lick monster is not real, the deaths associated with this area are still tragedies. I mean, that goes without saying with a with a lot of different things that people go around hunting. I mean, look how many people went out hunting Bigfoot and never come back. Like how many people have went out looking for Dogman and never come back. Even the Chupacabra went out looking and never come back. Get lost in the desert. Get lost in the forest. Something happens to them. They become a statistic in the, Dave Paulides 411 cases. It's very tragic. And here's one that is kind of unique. And this is the Pukwudgie. Little people. And Pukwudgies have been a part of Native American lore or of the American East for centuries before the coming of the Europeans. Some Native Americans believe that they used to get along well with humans, but that something happened that turned them against humans. One of the stories from the Wampanoag tribe claimed that they called it on Mushop, the giant, to remove the Pukwudgies from their lands because they were annoying. The Pukwudgies have held a grudge against humans ever since. Most Native American tribes have say that it is best to give a wide berth to the Pukwudgies if you encounter one. Their name means person of the wilderness. It is said that Pukwudgies have humanoid features, pale gray skin tone, but their fingers, noses, and ears are larger than a human's. According to some sources, Pukwudgies are the oldest cryptid in North America. Different tribes have had different lore regarding the Pukwudgies. The Ojibwe and other tribes around the Great Lakes area consider them merely mischievous, and while they might play tricks on people, they were not considered harmful. However, the Abenaki and other northeastern Native American tribes consider the Pukwudgie dangerous to people. And they have got that in bold red print, dangerous to people, if they disrespect them. But for the Wampanoag and other tribes in southern New England, Pukwudgies can go either way. They can be helpful to a human neighbor, or they can steal human children and do acts that cause great harm, such as pushing them off a cliff. They're considered to be quite capricious. So, puckwudgies, yeah, they're different, man. They've been a cryptid of interest of mine for quite a while. Ever since I found that handprint. I mean, it was weird. Let's see if I can bring that up. Nope. Give me just a second. Let's see. Trying to remember how to do this now. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Go here. Yeah, it's see if I can blow it up a little bit here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, it gets a little pixelated, but you can see right here, it's like a raccoon track, but right beside it, don't you think that looks like a human handprint? Actually, that's a possum track right there. It's not a raccoon, it's a possum track. And this is it looks like a human handprint right here. Now, I just randomly found this. I found another one like it maybe 200 yards away. Let's see, let's pull this down here. There we go. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about lizard people. And the lizard men. The first account of someone seeing the lizard man was in Lee County, South Carolina by 17-year-old Christopher Davis in 1988. Christopher got a flat tire near Scape Ore Swamp at night and got out to change it. Suddenly, a 7-foot-tall green lizard man with 3 fingers on each hand and red glowing eyes steps out from the swamp. Christopher, terrified, got in his car and attempted to drive away, but the creature jumped on the car and viciously attacked it. Later it came out that there was an earlier sighting. In 1987, a cyclist stopped next to a guardrail near the swamp to get a drink and a smoke, and said he saw a large humanoid creature across the street from where he was. This was a year before Christopher had his experience. There have also been sightings of the lizard man as late as 2015. Jim Wilson, who was driving toward Camden, saw a creature run out of the woods and cross the Scape Ore Bridge. Mr. Wilson got out of his car and began shooting photos of the creature. He said it was tall and had scales and a tail. He said it looked similar to an alligator. It had long legs, and his face had a short nose. The creature saw him and turned toward him before going into the water and crossing the swamp. A lizard man is very popular in Lee County, and Robert Howell, a local artist, has become famous for his drawings of the lizard man. His drawings have even made it into local historical lizard man exhibits at the South Carolina Cotton Museum. In 2018, they had a first Lizard Man Festival and Comic-Con, where high-profile cryptozoologists rub elbows with artists like Robert Howell and even the likes of ghost hunters. The most popular ones I want to try and fit in here in this special hour-long episode that I'm doing tonight. It's a strange world we live in. We live in strange and exciting times, folks. Strange and exciting times. I want to do a round table. I've been thinking about it. I would like to have a round table. If you are interested in being on the show and telling stories or just discussing certain events, cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, or whatever, if you're interested, check out Facebook. Find Lee McNew on Facebook. Private message me and let me know that you want to be on the show, and that you give me a little bit of the history of the show, of the story that you want to tell, or what you want to do, and give me an email address, or hell, I could just send you a link for StreamYard right through Messenger. It happens. I do it all the time. But yeah, if you want to be on the show, you know someone who would like to be on the show, just let me know. I need a round table. I'd love to have about 6 people on and have a discussion. It tends to be good. And 6 people on, if we have 3 or 4, I'd love to have 6. 3 or 4 would be good, but I'd love to have 6. I'm shooting for the moon right now. But, a round table discussion about the paranormal, and I'm talking everything paranormal, would be great. I'm eager to learn. I'm not claiming to know everything about anything. I know a little bit about this and a little bit about that. Oh, I didn't have my comments on. Sorry, guys. I see you there, Rick. Sorry about that. I thought I had my comment section on, but it wasn't up. I was thinking, nobody's talking. Yeah, sorry. Okay, this right here. They are the least mentioned. You talk about the fringes of the cryptid community, and I would say that the lizard folk, lizard men, lizard people, I believe they're the the redheaded stepchildren, I guess. Bigfoot and the dog man. They're the rock stars. They They get talked about all the time. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit more of this one because it gets a little bit more interesting. Right here, in the sun-scorched, burning wilderness of a place called Borrego Sink, 45 miles southeast of Borrego Springs, California, there have been reported terrifying encounters between man and mystery beast. The desert may seem to be a strange place to find Bigfoot, but not only have they been reported in this savage wasteland, but they have seemed to be of a rather aggressive variety, especially the ones that have come to be known as the Borrego Sasquatch. One such incident occurred in 1939 when a man was camping alone in one of the many dry gulches of the area. The man was awoken in the middle of the night by a band of two-legged hairy creatures stalking about his camp on the fringes of the campfire's light. The beasts were described as having white or silver fur and possessed piercing red eyes that glowed in the dark. The pack of creatures circled the camp menacingly for some time, but seemed to be somewhat afraid of the fire and kept their distance until they finally slunk off back into the desert. Now, in a lot of these stories I've just read, they talk of glowing eyes. And in certain cases, it speaks of some type of bioluminescence. But with the this one I just read, it could have just been a campfire light and its eye shine. Simple as that. I don't know. Like I said, it's a strange world we live in. So how you doing tonight, Rick? Hope you're doing all right. The reason why I'm just doing an hour-long show tonight, I've had a kind of a rough day. I said I was going to do one. I'm glad you're doing good, buddy. I said I was going to do a show tonight. I had a big plan, but stuff has happened, and it's always happening. And I was a little stressed today. Not going to get too far into it, but it's just, I should put it this way, it's a shitty time for this stuff to happen. You know, right here at the holidays. It really does. It really sucks. So here's another one. We're going to continue reading this story here because I find it rather interesting. I just wanted to share it with everybody. I don't know how many people are privy to this. Yes, it does, man. Yes, it does. Always. I used to plan for something all the time. You like vacations and all that stuff. And it got to the point where every time I planned something, I had it laid out, something would happen. It would just, totally destroy our plans. Bigfoot Anna. Bigfoot in the house. How you doing? So I don't make plans for nothing. Not really. I planned a bunch of different stuff for tonight. a topic for us all to just maybe talk about and throw a link in the chat and get somebody to come on. But I'm tired. I got another 20 minutes in me, and that's about it, man. I got to go to bed. I'm glad everybody's come here. Stop by and say hello. Sorry it's been so rough tonight. I'm not usually I try to be more professional with my setup and how things go and how I transition and other stuff, but StreamYard isn't that friendly. But I can actually have guests on here. And I don't know what it is about this OBS that I've got. Maybe I'm just that ignorant. I don't know. But I can't seem to get this one program into the system. It's an add-on that would allow me to, incorporate Skype. And maybe even StreamYard. But Skype would be a lot easier to do. And I could have multiple people on, and with StreamYard and other platforms like this, you've got to pay a membership to have X amount of people on, so many hours a month. I think right now the free one, you got the big watermark up here in the right-hand corner. You got to pay like $20 a month for it. Maybe. Now, if my channel was a little bit bigger, maybe I consider doing that, but not right now. I could think of. Honestly, I can think of better things to sink my money into. This right here, it'll do. I hope people can deal with the powered by StreamYard duck head right up here in the corner. It is what it is. I mean, you can look at that, or you can look at my ugly mug. I could just turn it off. Just boom, like that. Sometimes I'll do that. That raven's a lot better to look at. Bam. But yeah, that's the Yucca Man. I've heard of that before. Let's see. I'll get back to it here. Look at Sasquatch. That's a good picture. That's a good picture. I've seen a lot of good ones. All right, they continue. Once again, this article is from Mysterious Universe. 30 years later, in the same region, a man by the name of Harold Lancaster had his own frightening encounter as he was camping in the sink. Lancaster described how an enormous hair-covered bipedal creature stalked out of the wilderness and lumbered straight toward him in an intimidating manner. The man, fearing that he was about to be attacked, fired his revolver into the air in an effort to scare the monster away. However, whatever the creature was, the gunshots did the trick, and the thing reportedly jumped around 3 feet into the air before glaring at Lancaster and running off into the brush. I think he got lucky. Personally, I think he got lucky. I do. Borrego Sink is not the only place in the desert with a share of ominous man beasts. In a place called Dead Man's Hole, located 7 miles from Warner Springs and on Highway 79, a string of vicious unsolved murders occurred back in the 19th century that have long been blamed on a malicious, marauding Sasquatch. In 1858, the first victim was killed under mysterious circumstances, followed by more slayings over the years. A Frenchman who was slaughtered in his cabin, a prospector named David Blair who was killed by what looked like a knife attack, and a woman named Belinda who was strangled and mutilated. The story may have been just chalked up to an insane killer on the rampage had it not been for a curious story that surfaced in 1888. 2 hunters were out hunting in an area known as Dark Canyon when they came across a cave full of the scattered remains of various mutilated animals. As they investigated the cave, the hunters reported being attacked by a huge man-like beast covered in matted black hair with huge hands and feet. According to the hunters, they opened fire on the beast and killed it, after which its body was apparently moved to San Diego and shown to police. At the time, a paper called the San Diego Union ran the story and claimed that the rampaging mystery creature had been the one responsible for the murders, causing quite a public stir in the process. Oddly, the paper ran a story the following day dismissing the article as a mere April Fool's joke. It is unknown if there were ever really a body or if the creature really existed, but what is known is the mysterious murders remain unsolved. Yeah. So, I mean, once again, it's one of those things that the powers that be know about. And Rick, I think you agree with me on this. Government knows about this stuff, and they're not telling us, and they need to. And for the longest time, I just feel like it's a matter of public safety. And there are a lot of people out there who are kind of on the fence about that, but yet they're out here trying to, find evidence of them, or I don't know whether it's self-validation or what. But I mean, look, if you know they're out here, tell people, and don't be scared to do it. If they don't believe you, to hell with them. And friends or family, I've heard friends and family sometimes are the worst people to give you shit about it. And I'm the first one to tell you to go get bent. Seriously. I'm too old now. I don't give a shit. I don't. So, I've got enough evidence of my own to let you know that these creatures do exist. I've never seen one face to face. I've admitted that numerous times here. I've never actually seen one, but I've known they've been around. How do I know they've been around? You just know. You just know, man. You just know. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out unless you just, you got muddy water and tadpoles floating between your ears. Absolutely. This right here is nothing but the truth. After being in the golden years has its benefit. Yes, it does. And it won't be long. I'll be getting my senior citizens discount. That's one thing I think my wife is still with me for. You ain't got much longer. You got that senior citizens discount if they still give them out anymore. But yeah, this is the thing. It really, and you're absolutely right, Rick. Too many eyewitness accounts. There are too many eyewitness accounts. I mean, it used to number in the thousands. Now they number in the tens of thousands of people coming forward. I mean, you've got shows like Sasquatch Chronicles, Bigfoot Odyssey, the Confessionals, even Steve Isdall's The Facts by HowToHunt.com. Steve Isdall, he's constantly reading emails of people that have accounts, and he doesn't discriminate either. He'll read your email, and if there's something and he don't belittle anybody. I love the fact that he doesn't do that. But if he hears something that goes against his actual knowledge of woodcraft and behavior, I mean, you can't be a big game guide in British Columbia without having a very strong bullshit meter. Because you're out here in the brush, you don't only just have to worry about the critters out there. The the damn grizzly out there weighs half a ton. It's smashing through trees. It's not going around them. They smash through them to get to you. Or the moose. The people overlook that. The moose is vicious. But you also got to worry about your client that out there. You don't know. I mean, yep. Too many newspaper articles, just like this one I'm reading right here. I mean, it's just stating the facts. Right? Just the facts. So, he does get a lot of crap because he not a Bigfoot guy. He's not. He's someone who's had an experience. He's someone who has a platform and has decided to use his platform to promote the dispersion of knowledge about what I'm doing. And be honest with you, I'm copying his model. And I see no reason not to. I want to copy his model. I'm not here to gain fame and fortune. I want my channel to grow so I can get more viewers, so I reach more people and raise more awareness of this. There's a lot of there's a lot of good people out here. Don't get me wrong. And I appreciate what some of them are doing. They don't know, they don't have enough to research the entire creature, but they have enough of one certain thing to where they're going to concentrate on this so that maybe we know enough about this certain subject regarding one of these creatures. And I'm talking Bigfoot mainly. To where they have something to present to the public and say, hey, we've done this X amount of research on this subject right here that you should be made aware of. Why are they doing X, Y, and Z? And I mean, I can relate. I can understand that, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, like the mid-tarsal break or the hollow hair follicles. How they bend the light, so on and so forth. I've talked about this a bunch. I brought up their ability, their natural, Sasquatch, their natural ability to hide. Every creature out in the forest has got one. They move, get around a certain way, and they're gone. You don't see them. Even something as big as a Sasquatch. I've seen black bear just run across a freaking field, get in the woods, and they're gone. Gone. You might hear them, and then you won't. Because, if these creatures want to hide, they can. White-tailed deer, for the longest time, they were dubbed the ghost of the forest because they blend in so well and they can hide. And how they can, it looks like sometimes they can pass through some of the brush that a rabbit would have a hard time going through. Whether they leap over it or they can slide underneath it, Even a buck. I've watched a buck just lay its head back so its horns don't get caught on anything. They do have some sense, but it's because they live in the wilderness and they know how to interact with it. So you take a creature like Bigfoot, hey, they have superior intelligence. Now, I would probably go as far as to say that they have an intelligence that's on par with us, and out in the wilderness, probably more so. Todd Standing, yeah, he's hurt his reputation a couple of times, doing some kind of squirrely stuff. I'm not discounting some of his work. He's gotten out there and he's done the work. He's been boots on the ground, just him out there, pulling a Les Stroud. But I hate the fact that he's looked at as a hoaxer. I really do. Todd Standing, man, when I first heard about him and started, looking in on him, I was like, man, somebody who's finally getting it. You gotta be out there in the woods all the time, habituating areas with your scent. Maybe leave an apple or two, but not a tribute. You're not gifting. You don't gift to these people because they view it as a tribute. In too many cases, I've read where people have got gifting plots where they take food or material items out to them and they'll leave something back. But if something happens and these people move away from the area and other people move in who have no idea of what was going on this property, next thing you know, they're being harassed by these people, the forest folk, and it's a big problem. So, I don't know. I saw that in his special. Todd Standing got Meldrum's first encounter. He was a man of his age acting like that. I mean, he was like a kid who just saw Santa Claus. It's like, ooh, 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 you know? So, oh, yeah. Yeah, I've looked into Moneymaker. I mean, a lot of these Bigfoot shows. I've seen Bobo Fay on a lot of these shows. I don't know the dude. I don't know the guy. I've heard him talk. I think he knows his stuff to a certain degree, but I've seen enough of these shows to tell you that I think a lot of them are full of shit. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. You're right in line with a lot of people, man. And you say thought you saw the devil in your encounter. So, yeah. I never saw one, but I've been that scared. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know the guy personally. I can't claim to know that for a fact, but I've heard that, and I hate to lay blame of guilt by association, but associating with someone with a nefarious reputation like Matt Moneymaker. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned his name. I don't care. He's caused more people grief than he's helped. I've heard so many stories of Bigfoot Field Research Organization showing up at a site and stirring up a bunch of trouble, leaving, and then the client, the person, the victim of these creatures' harassment, it ramps up, and then they're really pissed. You know. So I was in touch with the family I went out to see a few weeks ago. The one I made my little documentary about. So I was in touch with them, and I was talking to Heather, okay? And she said that it was a few nights ago that something banged on the house, okay? It shook the house. Now they have a solid stick-built home on, a concrete foundation, right? And it shook the house. The dogs went ballistic, and they could never find what did it. So I was hoping that would not be the case, that wouldn't happen. But evidently it's starting. It's going to be a little bit here and a little bit there. Next thing you know, it's doing other odds and ends stuff. I'm worried about their dogs. Well, like I said, I mean, I really don't trust these people. I've watched a couple of episodes of Finding Bigfoot. I mean, it has its place. It, I gotta give credit where credit is due, even though the show's awful, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. But it got people talking about the subject. It's more popular now than it's been in probably 40 years. I mean, seriously. And yeah, yeah, Rick. They I, I'm not speaking anything on anybody, but all the evidence that I saw points toward a cryptid being involved in some of what was going on. Now, I'm not saying all of it, because I mean, there's different factors. There's different elements of what is going on and around the property. It's not just on the property. It's around the property. Okay? The lights, for one. There's two different sets of light phenomena that has gone on there. The flying and hovering of certain lights, the flash of light, the different types. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of looked into it, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of other so-called Bigfoot research organizations out here, so smaller independent ones, that kind of do the same. They want to get their evidence, they get out there and stir up a bunch of stuff, and then they go. It's not their problem anymore. The landowner or homeowner has to deal with the repercussions. Me, I get out there, I look around, do an assessment, and that's it. I know what I'm looking for. I'm not poking around. At this point, I mean, it's just stupid to poke the bear when it's probably not going to be focused on you when you do it. I mean, do you understand? Am I clear on what I'm saying? Because sometimes I talk out my ass and it comes out sounding really weird. But as far as I know, no. I mean, honestly, up till like this happened almost a month ago now. Halloween night, Halloween day, rather. It all happened on Halloween. That's when all of it happened. And they really just they're simple, salt of the earth people who just want to live their life and not have to worry about the bullshit. They're in a remote area for a reason. They want to be left the hell alone. You know what I'm saying? So they they don't really care about any of that stuff, or they didn't until now. And if you watch the documentary, I tried to keep the family out of camera shot as much as possible, especially the children, because, there's so many weirdos out there. But there were a couple of times when I had to get him and her in the shot, Matt and Heather in a shot, because their testimony was so powerful, in my opinion. I mean, they just didn't make this stuff up. And Matt, you could not only just see it in his face, you could see a mixture of concern and almost anger, because it's disrupting his peace. Right? I appreciate that, Rick. Thank you. I mean, it's disrupting him and his family's peace because of all this mess. So, and I'm going to circle back around to what I was saying earlier. The powers that be that know about this need to let us know. Need to let the public know what they know. The public needs to be informed about these people that are out here. I mean, some people love a good mystery. They love to get out here and love the mystery, but once you have that encounter, whether you see it or not, sometimes having that encounter without seeing it is just almost as bad as actually seeing it. Because I can't really enjoy myself in the woods like I used to. I used to be able to I never thought about it. I would get out in the middle of God's country, in the middle of nowhere, and just pick me a tree, plop my butt down, and go to sleep. Just enjoy nature. But I can't do that now. It's hard to do that now. Knowing what I know. I like getting my son out in the woods because he needs to know his woodcraft. But I'm not advertising him out there as a bait, just in case they do get a little squirrely and decide to want to snatch it up. No. So, I mean, I see where they're coming from. And like I said, it pisses me off that the government won't let us know. I mean, they're coming clean, sort of, about about the UFOs, and they've given a new acronym, the UAPs. And you're absolutely right. Ignorance is bliss. And most people would like to remain ignorant of this because it totally disrupts their paradigm. Like we were talking last night, And the same thing goes for UFO encounters. The same thing goes for paranormal encounters, like seeing unidentified aerial phenomena. That's what they're calling it now. Unidentified aerial phenomena. A UAP. Not UFO, but UAP. Unidentified flying object. I don't know why they decided they wanted to change it. I figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, the government, if they can fuck it up, they will. Yep, unidentified aerial phenomena. But, so I want yeah. Sorry. Anywho, I'm going to start wrapping this up. It's 11 after, and it's 1:16 in the morning. I'm gonna carry my hind into the bed and wrap this up by saying that there are a lot of different creatures out here. And I think we need to know about it. Even the weird, outlandish ones, right? I mean, I got a whole article set up here about the cornfield creature, the forest cryptid, prime hook swamp creature, Florida sea monster, the Mothman, the Kitsune, a fox spirit, invisible sprinting humanoids, red-eyed roadside cryptid, bizarre Australian creatures, and so on and so forth. I mean, just strange cryptids that people don't talk about. Now, these chimeras that were present in Greek and Roman mythology, like the centaurs and the minotaur, the actual creature called a chimera with the head of a lion, goat, and a dragon. Okay? And a scorpion's tail. Dude, you're welcome here anytime, bro. Anytime. It's a pleasure having you here. Australia is weird, man. It's got some of the weirdest creatures on the planet. Like, say, the duck-billed platypus. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Yeah. Manticore. Yep. That's another one. Yep. A sphinx is a representation of some type of chimera. So, yeah, a human-animal hybrid of sorts. And people have seen them. It's like we were talking about last night. Brenda Harris had brought up the fact that it was either her... It was a child in some type of relation to her. What they say on the res, everybody's family. But this young man said he'd seen a centaur, and this is in New Mexico. I mean, okay, here's another thing I'm looking into, and it's the whole hollow Earth thing. Another rabbit hole I'm jumping down, and there's so much material to scour over. It's going to take me a long time to get my facts straight before I can say yay or nay in my personal opinion whether I think it's viable or if I think it's bullshit. I'm looking at... Did you? Yeah, it's up around the four corners right near there, the res. Yep. Brenda's a great lady, and they've had interaction with Sasquatch there all the time. You're familiar with Duke from World Bigfoot Radio, right? Man, there's a hole drilled in Russia that only goes about 8 miles deep, and that was it. That's as far as we've gotten. 8 miles. 8 miles into the Earth's crust. That's it. That's the deepest we've gotten, and everything that we've been taught in school about the makeup of the Earth and its layers and so on and so forth it's all theory. Nobody really knows for certain. But yeah, Duke, he used to have a fella on his show quite often, Randy Yazzie, who went by Caveman. Randy Caveman Yazzie. He's kind of fell off the grid there for a little bit, and I understand he's went back to school trying to get his education. He's back in college, but he has had a lot of experiences. He did a live stream on Facebook. I think it was Facebook, where he had something around his house, and you could hear the dogs just losing their mind. But yeah. Anyway, yep. Right there on the res. Randy and Randy, they know each other. Randy and Brenda do. And I've been, like I said, digging around into the hollow earth thing. And there are stories that go way back. There are photos that was leaked out into the World Wide Web that got archived, that you could see the original photo and the one that the government went back and covered up. There's reasons why you don't get a good picture, a good aerial photograph of Antarctica. That's a hell of a rabbit hole to jump down, man. The one with Bigfoot, you've got walls you could grip on your way down to slow your fall, but this one, no, man. It's like a football field. It's crazy. I believe that you were right about the place in New Mexico with the cave and the giant tools. You get to talking about giants. We've dug deep into the earth, several miles into the earth, and found fossils. Okay. So, the earth has changed over several billion years. And it's being theorized that mankind has existed way longer than conventional scientific theory would lead us to believe. Like in the millions of years, instead of the thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. Here just recently they found human remains. I can't remember whether it was in Michigan or one of the Dakotas, where they found the existence of human civilization 140,000 years ago. And we're not, it was primitive, but not Neanderthal. And when I'm thinking how everything leads together, how it's pointing. I don't know for sure. I don't have one for real, that I'm studying. I'm looking at the facts. and how we used to hear about in school about the missing link between the Neanderthal and us. What if there's no link at all? What if they were just a different subspecies of human, and we were existing right there with them? I mean, according to some research scientists, geologists, and I'm tired. The word escapes me. Archaeologists. There we go. According to some archaeologists, they theorize that they found fossils, okay, and some of these fossils, they've been found alongside of what appear to be some type of human remains, to where it's being believed now that humans coexisted with the dinosaurs at one point. So there you go. And we're talking about advanced civilizations that predate, there was a dark period in our past that we have an amnesia of. There's a reason why we don't know anything about our real past. How far back does it go? As far as our knowledge of our history, human history, we look to religious texts to tell us this, but they don't tell the whole story. I'm sorry, but they don't. And they tell it in relation to the idea of man translating the Word of God. And this is just my opinion, I believe the Word of God is there in the book. I believe it. But I believe that also man is fallible. And we have a tendency to screw shit up on a grand scale. Yep. Exactly. So, I mean, I think, if you've ever heard of what they refer to as DUMB, D-U-M-B, little s, and it's a hyphenation or an acronym rather. Deep underground military bases. And these are, I had a friend who worked in one in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I mean, hey, they he worked like 3 miles underground. Top secret. Cheyenne Mountain. I mean, that's a lot to take in. I don't know. They say that there are underground rail systems that have been developed over the years between certain military bases. But anyway, I get on a tangent. But well, I was saying, we need to know. We need to know what's going on. And I really truly do want to have a round table, and you're welcome to be on it, Rick. I'd like for you to be on the round table discussion. We'll talk about stuff. I'm going to try and put something together I will be using this same platform Wednesday. Good World willing, nothing else pops up to screw with it. I'm gonna do Wednesday what I said I was gonna do tonight, and put that link in chat so we can talk mano a mano. Would you be willing to come on, Rick? I will drop that link Wednesday night. I'll drop the link Wednesday night, and we'll see how many people we can get on. And we'll compare notes and see what's up. Well, I am going to call it a night. It's an hour and a half. I went over. I always do. I always do. So I've got a stinking cat in the background who just wants to just run her mouth all the time. Okay. Until next time, guys. Hopefully see you Wednesday at midnight for another episode of The Raven's Eye. And we're out. Till next time. Love you, mean it.